Welcome to Life Stories with Kansiime Mwesigye. And today we are sharing a very helpful topic that will get us to thrive and to grow financially, socially, and even in health. And the topic today is how to manage debts. Now, many of you may be asking, of all topics, why are you discussing about debts? Now, many of us have found ourselves in places, in corners where debts have been unavoidable. There are circumstances under which we really fall indebted because it is beyond our expectations. Now, before we go into the type of debts and how to get out of them and how to avoid them, kindly subscribe if it is your first time, or if you have not subscribed before, please subscribe, like this video, and share it if you find it helpful, that it will get someone to a safe space financially. Okay, back to our topic. How do we manage or avoid debts? There are debts that we cannot avoid. If you are sick and maybe you have no savings tucked out there, or you have no insurance that is going to help you to get treated, or maybe the kind of sickness that you have requires a specialized treatment. I've seen people fly out of the country to get that specialized treatment, and the money involved is massive. Now, there are debts which are self-created. You earn a salary of 1 million or maybe 2 million, and you're planning on a wedding with a budget of over 100 or 200 million. For Christ's sake, that is a debt that you can avoid. It is a debt that you have created by yourself. It is a debt that after you've taken it and you finish that wedding, you are going to regret about. But anyway, whether it is managed or whether it is necessary or a luxurious debt, you are already there. How do we get out of these debts? How do we manage them effectively? Rule number one, the moment you fall into debt, it means you are going to cut your budget thoroughly well. What do I mean by cutting a budget thoroughly well? If you earn about 1 million Uganda shillings and you're paying a rent of 300,000 and you're remaining with 700,000, maybe you take off transport. Maybe you have been eating too much matoke and rice and these expensive costs. Cutting your budget is going to be the first lifeline in managing a debt. What are things that you can do away with and then you will not die? If you have been shopping clothes every month and it is a tradition, you buy a dress, you buy a shirt, you buy a trouser, you buy a handbag, you buy luxurious perfumes, the moment you find yourself in debt and you are planning on getting out of it, manage your expenditure well. It means you're going to cut out all the wants. The things you do not need to live, you're going to do away with them. There are moments when, after doing away with clothes, you've dealt away with perfumes, you've dealt away with, the luxurious eating places, the dinners you've been having. Then you may need to cut out on how many meals you take. There are people who take 3 meals. They wake up, they have breakfast, a heavy breakfast, they go for a heavy lunch, then they go for a big dinner, and at the end of it all, they're having food that is really not necessary in the body. So in the event that you find yourself in a debt and you are planning to pay, cut out the third meal. Have your breakfast, have a late lunch, have a drink, a snack for supper. Now, the money that you save, the money you could have used for buying clothes, the money you could have used for dinner, the money you could have used for buying perfumes, the money you were using for going for outings, put that money aside. Let it accumulate. Now, it may look like small money, maybe 10, 20,000. But if you gather 10, 20,000 in a week, that is going to be around 140 or 70,000. And so That money will help you to pay towards your bill, or it is going to help you to live another day in the event that all your salary is going towards debt management. Number one, cut on your budget. If you have been living a celebrity kind of lifestyle, tone down. Go for bargain. Don't go into supermarkets when you can actually walk into Nakawa, Nakasero, or Kalere and pick these things at a bargain price. I have seen people go to supermarkets, they buy tomatoes, they buy broccoli. When you go to evening markets or very early morning markets, a broccoli that costs 5,000 in a market, in the early morning market or late evening market, 1,000, you pick 3 heads of broccoli. And so I encourage you, cut on the budget, reduce your expenditure, tone down on your celebrity lifestyle, look for bargains. And when you have gotten that, every single money that you save, put it aside towards paying the budget or to help you feed for more days, even as your salary, as your other earnings and wages help you to pay for that debt that you incurred. Number two, look for a support system. Now, the moment you fall into debts because you are sick, I am sure if you have, if it were your parents who were sick or it was you who are sick, you have a family, you have a circle of friends. Now, that is why it is so important for us to build our social network. Many times you talk to people and you're like, build your social network, let your social network grow because you can only be as, as big as your social capital is. You know, there has to be a team of people that can stand for you, that can look out for you, that can mobilize for you, that can support you, that can even give you knowledge on how to come out of a situation. So number two, look for your social network. Now your social network, they can choose to contribute, they can choose to put an activity like a car wash. They can put a car boot sale. They can put anything. They can put their old clothes to sell so that they can raise money to help you get out of debt. Now, debt is not a safe space. Debt is a place where you can get frustrated, you can get sick, your high blood pressure can be up. Debt is a really tight position for you to be in. So get your social network, devise means of how to raise those finances and pay off the debt and then start life afresh. Now, if it was your self-created debt, one, I would say avoid it. Go for weddings that you can afford. It's not a rule that you invite 1,000 or 100 people. If people want to attend your wedding, it can be like, we have a wedding, but we have no budget for visitors. And so if you feel you want to support us, please come. But don't throw around wedding meetings. Don't throw around begging meetings, asking people to contribute. I know people these days, they will alert you they have a wedding, and it is upon you to choose whether to give money or not. But don't go an extra mile to have a wedding that is beyond your budget. And then when you finish the wedding, the wife will even leave you. I know of a guy who took a loan from the bank to get that dream wedding for the woman that he loved. And when the woman found there was no money that they can use in the house, she left. Now look at the pain of this young man servicing a loan, and his wife is not with him. She already left him because she couldn't manage the level of poverty that they were experiencing. So if you find yourself in that situation, whether you created it or it was necessary, look up to your support system. Do services to cover up your debts. Do activities with your support system that will help you to overcome these debts. Now, number three, in the midst of your debts and challenges, maybe some people will even come and they'll be asking for money, or that is why you are in debts because you're trying to pay someone's school fees. Someone produces their own children, and it is you that has to pay school fees. Really? Yes, all of us got there, but it is something I will discourage and discourage again. If someone produces their children and they are able-bodied, let them pay their own bills. You don't work and work to pay for someone's bills, and then in the middle of the dates, you find yourself, you have to look for money for these school fees. Drop those activities that squeeze you. If someone has their child and it is you that is stressing to pay the fees, drop that. If you're funding, a car, you've bought a car and you figure out that the car is becoming a liability, sell it off. It's not worth it. If you're renting a big house and you find that is where much of your money is going and you cannot sustain your life, so you have to be in debt, look for a smaller house. I have personally lived in a smaller house until I was able to rent a 2 rooms, a 3 bedrooms, and maybe build my own. So drop everything. Don't give money you don't have. Drop every activity that you find is straining your budget and is throwing you in debts. Let people manage their own. Do not give what you cannot afford. Let them know you only have enough for yourself, for your children, and to cover up your debts. And when you live an honest life, eventually you will come back and thank me. Now, there are places where if you have incurred debts, you can go and negotiate to offer a service instead of paying the cash. Let me say, think of like if your children are in the school and you are indebted to the school, is it possible to take up, if you have a banana plantation, some of us were educated like that. I remember our grandfather used to cut matoke from our garden, take it to the school, and then the school will be able to cut the school fees from the services that my grandfather was having. Sometimes he would provide them with milk. There are times he would provide them with bricks for construction. And so our debts were always covered by the services our grandfather paid. Can you consider doing a service instead of looking for money to pay? Because when you do a service, you will pay off that debt very peacefully and relaxed, and it is not going to be a pressure raising debt for you. Thank you so much for listening, and I pray that we'll avoid the avoidable debts, and in the event that it is an unavoidable debt, these values, the activities and the strategies we have put before you, they will help us to overcome and to thrive and then avoid debts completely. Thank you so much for listening up to the end. Bye-bye for now.